What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today is February the 25th. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is doing today. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with data points, don't really have a whole lot going on today. A couple of Fed speakers, don't necessarily know their actual topics that they're going to be discussing ahead of time, but Barr usually talks on banking regulations, and then Barkin usually talks on just the overall economy. And Barkin actually, out of the two of them, sounds very, very cheerful. Always very optimistic about the broader market, that inflation's just doing its thing as what is expected. Interest rates will be coming down, so that could potentially move the market in a positive way. Aside from that, we have consumer confidence coming out at 9 a.m. Normally, that's not really a data point that I would bring up or anything, but I think the market's looking for some reasons, any reason to really move higher. So again, that could be it. Forecast right now for that is 103, but looks like the futures are moving up slightly. Couple big things. So it looks like NVDA and Cisco are expanding their AI partnership. So that's always a good thing, especially leading into NVIDIA's earnings. And then aside from that, Trump is planning to be a little bit tougher on Chinese chips. So again, that seems to be really helping the broader market recover from the last couple trading days. Dow is up 0.27, S&P up 0.2, NASDAQ up 0.02. SoFi has been just struggling, so it is down 1.32% despite them putting out news. So it's more Galileo related, a little bit of a collaboration, but as what I've mentioned, I think this, unless I am missing this, I'll do a little bit more of a deeper dive in this in my dedicated SoFi video, but just for face value from reading it, it's another one of those ones that is like, yeah, it's a good FYI, no reason to go out and buy SoFi nor sell. So I think SoFi's technicals are somewhat broken a little bit, and that's why it's pulling down so much more, but 11.86% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 127.65 million shares. Shorts are starting to wake up. I've brought this up the last couple of videos. It's nothing crazy significant. They're not doubling down like 50 million shares, but from what they have been doing, they are indicating that they want to move or increase their position slowly. So again, something to keep in mind. With it at $14 and change, it is trading right above this S1. So between this pivot and this S1, 1593 will be that next strong target / resistance. 1409, really want to watch for that to hold today. If not, then you'll see most likely in this range, so as low as 1295. And again, for those of you that have watched my dedicated SoFi video, the Elliott Wave technicals are projecting for it to be between that $12.50 and $13 range. So again, just keep that in mind. HIMS is getting slaughtered, and so it is down 22% despite their actual earnings being relatively good. So looking at that for face value, so it could be potentially one of those buy the dip moments, but at the same time, I think a lot of people are really looking at their actual multiples. Similar to what happened when Palantir ran up, just people didn't really understand the innovative business that they were in, and still they don't largely, but again, I think that is one of the biggest attributing factors why it is going down today. But yeah, I think any stock running up like 219% over the last 6 months, you're going to have a lot of volatility, and I think a pullback is somewhat justified in some cases. So let me know your viewpoint on that. So 29.14% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 55.08 million shares. So anticipate shorts to be fairly active today. With it at 39 and change, it is trading between this R2 and this R1, so 38.41, and then 33.10 will be the support levels. 41.69, 46.99 is going to be the next strong target / resistance points. So like I said, I think that there will be a buy the dip type of scenario getting it to the R1. I don't see this getting to the 46 at all, but again, what do I know? But moving on, so Palantir is recovering slightly, and no actual news from the company itself, so it is just more of a technical recovery. Yesterday it did get hit very, very hard. It went down 10.53%, landing at $90.68. 3.08% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 66.67 million shares overall are being shorted. So Palantir is not a squeeze play. Actually, I think in fact every stock I'm going to talk on isn't a squeeze play, but it's good to analyze what they have been doing. So shorts have been still returning a little bit. So they kind of signaled that they were going to start increasing and doubling down, but yeah, turns out they have been just returning. So again, they still do see more upside with Palantir. That's how I, of course, analyze it. With it right now at $92, it is trading between this S1 and this S2. So the reason why it did, and most likely is moving higher, is just piggybacking off the broader market, but it also did bounce off of this S2 yesterday. So very strong support. So 89.21. And so that's going to be, once again, another support level. 96.20 is going to be the next strong target / resistance, which in my opinion, if the momentum does build, could definitely touch today. Moving on is SMCI, so the big day for them. A lot of volume, even though it's relatively flat this morning, but they do have their deadline today, so they have to submit their annual earnings, and we'll just have to wait and see. I think it has to be by the end of business day. So I'm pretty sure anyone invested in it right now is going to be at the edge of their seat, because that could be potentially what causes it to get to, let's say, the $45 range, or potentially break it to that 60. So it's definitely going to cause a hell of a lot of volatility. 18.99% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 95.07 million shares. Similarly, if the earnings come out, I think, so there's a couple things. Just the fact that they're going to submit their annual earnings, that is going to be what moves it most likely. And then people are going to, again, analyze the true data, and that could potentially as well move it, and maybe even be a natural deterrent for shorts. So they've been playing a pretty big part in the day-to-day activity, so just be aware of that. With that 52 and change trading between this pivot and this S1, so 51.92 will be a strong support, followed by 48.28, 57.83, and then 63.73 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. Even though Riot did have their earnings and it was somewhat okay, but they're pulling back alongside just crypto, and so a lot of the miners are going down. So even though they had their earnings, Mara is actually the one that has the highest volume, if that makes sense. It's early, my apologies if I said that wrong, but anyways, so as far as right now, it is down 4.25%. No news from them, so it's just reacting to kind of external factors. So just be aware of that, but very heavily shorted. So 25.14% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 83.95 million shares. And right lately, shorts have been really increasing. So about 23% short interest to where it is now. So anticipate them to be fairly active. And with it at $13.26. It is very early. It is right above this S3. So $13.22 is going to be that key level that you really want to watch for it to hold. If not, you're going to see most likely $11 hit. So let me know your thoughts on this stock or any of these stocks. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, if you're looking for buy signals, pop over to my Patreon. I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point and bangers. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.